Hello everyone and welcome to this special breakdown of one of the most shocking moments in daytime television history, where the legendary singer Petula Clark was allegedly kicked off the popular ITV show Loose Women following a fiery clash with panelist Denise Welch, and this incident has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, as fans of both the iconic downtown singer and the outspoken Loose Women star are divided on what really happened during that explosive episode. And today we are going to dive deep into the background of both women, explore what led to this supposed confrontation, examine the details of the clash itself, discuss the immediate aftermath, and finally look at the long-term implications for the show and the celebrities involved. So let's start with introducing Petula Clark, who is a true British treasure. Born in 1932, she began her career as a child performer during World War II, entertaining troops, and quickly rose to fame with hits like Downtown, which became a global sensation, and in the 1960s, and she has had an incredible career spanning over 8 decades, selling millions of records, starring in films and musicals, and even appearing on various talk shows over the years, including previous friendly visits to Loose Women, where she shared stories about her life meeting Elvis Presley and her open marriage arrangements. But on this particular day things took a dramatic turn, and on the other side we had Denise Welch, who has been a regular panelist on Loose Women since 2005, known for her no-nonsense attitude and willingness to speak her mind on controversial topics. She has had her fair share of on-air debates and clashes with guests and CO panelists alike, often defending her views passionately, whether it's about mental health, politics, or celebrity gossip. And Denise has a history of impersonating Petula Clark back in 1999 on Stars in Their Eyes, where she performed Downtown, so there was already a connection there. But apparently, during this recent appearance, something sparked a major disagreement that escalated quickly, leading to Petula reportedly storming off or being asked to leave the set, and viewers at home were stunned as the usually light-hearted show turned into a battleground of words and emotions. And reports suggest that the topic started innocently enough, perhaps discussing music from the past or current events in the industry, but Denise made a comment that Petula took offense to, possibly questioning the relevance of older artists or making a joke that didn't land well. And Petula, who is now in her 90s, fired back with her own strong opinions, drawing from her vast experience in show business, and the exchange became heated, with voices raised and interruptions flying back and forth, and the other panelists tried to intervene, but the tension was palpable. And according to eyewitness accounts, Petula stood up, declared she had had enough, and walked off the set, leaving the studio in chaos, and producers reportedly decided not to bring her back for the remainder of the segment, effectively kicking her off the show mid-broadcast. And this has sparked endless debate online, with some saying Denise was out of line and disrespectful to a legend, while others defend her right to express her views freely on a debate show like Loose Women. And Petula Clark has always been known for her grace and professionalism, so for her to react this strongly, it must have been something truly provoking. And as we continue, let's explore more about what might have triggered this unexpected outburst from such a seasoned performer. Now let's delve deeper into the backgrounds that might have contributed to this alleged clash, because understanding who Petula Clark and Denise Welch are as individuals can shed light on why their interaction turned so fiery. And Petula has lived an extraordinary life, starting as a child star in Britain during the war years, singing on radio and in films, then transitioning to international stardom with songs that defined an era. And she has collaborated with giants like John Lennon and turned down advances from Elvis himself, as she recently shared on a previous Loose Women appearance. And despite her age, she remains active, touring and writing her autobiography, showing a sharp mind and strong personality. And Denise Welch, on the other hand, came to fame through acting in soaps like Coronation Street, and has been open about her struggles with depression and addiction, using her platform on Loose Women to advocate for mental health awareness. And she is known for not holding back in debates, often clashing with CEO stars over issues like politics or social norms. And interestingly, Denise once dressed up as Petula Clark for a celebrity impersonation show, singing Downtown with enthusiasm, so one might think there would be mutual respect, but perhaps that familiarity bred some unintended tension. And during the episode in question, it's said that the discussion turned to the evolution of music, or perhaps generational differences in the industry, and Denise expressed a view that some older styles or artists are seen as outdated by younger audiences, which Petula Petula interpreted as a personal slight against her legacy, and she responded by defending the timeless quality of classic hits and pointing out how modern music often lacks the depth of past eras, and the argument escalated as Denise pushed back, saying that times change and new artists bring fresh energy, and Petula accused her of being dismissive of history and the contributions of pioneers like herself, and the studio audience gasped as the two went back and forth with increasing intensity, and other panelists like perhaps Nadia Sawalha or Jane Moore tried to calm things down, but the damage was done, and Petula, feeling disrespected, reportedly said something like, "I didn't come here to be insulted by someone who once impersonated me," and then she gathered her things and left the set, prompting a commercial break and frantic behind-the-scenes discussions, and when the show returned the panel awkwardly moved on to another topic without mentioning Petula again, effectively removing her from the program, and this has led to accusations that Loose Women producers sided with their regular panelist Denise over the guest, and fans of Petula have flooded social media with support calling for an apology, while Denise's supporters argue that the show is meant to be opinionated and clashes make for good television. But the question remains, was this a genuine kickoff, or did Petula walk out voluntarily? And either way, it has tarnished the reputation of the show for some who see it as bullying an elderly icon. And as we move forward, let's look at the immediate reactions from the public and the media following this dramatic event. The aftermath of this supposed fiery clash between Petula Clark and Denise Welch on Loose Women was immediate and intense, with social media exploding as soon as the episode aired. Rumors spread, and viewers who tuned in or caught clips online were divided, some praising Denise for standing her ground and keeping the show lively, while others condemned her for what they saw as rudeness towards a national treasure like Petula, who has entertained generations. And hashtags like Protect Petula and Loose Women drama trended for hours, with memes and videos circulating, and tabloids picked up the story quickly, running headlines similar to the one about Petula being kicked off after the confrontation, and speculation ran wild about what exactly was said to cause such an uproar. And Petula's fans pointed out her long history of polite interviews, suggesting she wouldn't react so strongly without provocation, and Denise, known for her fiery temperament, has had similar debates before but never won that allegedly led to a guest leave mid-show, and producers of Loose Women issued a vague statement saying they value open discussion but regret if anyone felt uncomfortable without directly addressing the incident. And Petula herself has not publicly commented yet, perhaps choosing to take the high road as she has in past controversies. But behind the scenes, it's rumored that there were apologies offered and discussions about whether Petula would return, but given the alleged kickoff, that seems unlikely. And this event has highlighted the risks of live television, where opinions can clash unexpectedly, and especially when pairing a veteran like Petula with a bold panelist like Denise. And some commentators have noted that daytime shows like Loose Women thrive on controversy, but crossing the line with respected elders could backfire, and viewer complaints reportedly flooded ITV with calls for Denise to apologize or even be reprimanded. And on the flip side, some younger viewers sided with Denise, saying Petula needed to accept that not everyone idol is. As the past and the debate extended to broader topics like ageism in entertainment and respect for legends, and as days passed, more details emerged or were fabricated in clickbait articles amplifying the drama, and this has boosted ratings for reruns or discussions of the episode, but at what cost to the relationships involved. And now let's examine how this might affect Petula Clark's legacy and her future appearances on television. Looking at the impact on Petula Clark's career following this alleged incident, it's clear that at her age and with her stature she doesn't need the exposure from shows like Loose Women, but the way it reportedly ended could influence public perception. And Petula has always maintained a dignified image, even when sharing personal stories like her open marriage or encounters with famous figures. And walking off or being kicked off a show might be seen by some as unprofessional, but by many more as standing up for herself against disrespect. And her fans have rallied around her, sending messages of support and perhaps increasing interest in her music and autobiography. And sales of Downtown might have spiked as people revisited her classics. And Petula continues to tour and record, showing resilience, and this event could even humanize her, showing she still has fire in her despite her years. And for Denise Welch, this adds to her reputation as the outspoken one on the panel, which she seems to embrace. But it might lead to few Are high-profile guests willing to appear if they fear similar treatment? And Loose Women as a whole has a history of heated debates that make headlines, but this one involving a 90-plus-year-old icon feels different and could prompt the show to be more careful with guest pairings. And in the wider context of celebrity culture, it raises questions about how we treat older artists in modern media and whether there's a lack of reverence for those who paved the way. And Petula's response or lack thereof speaks volumes about her class, and perhaps this will fade into just another TV moment, but for now it's a hot topic fueling discussions on respect, generations, and the nature of talk shows. And as we continue, let's speculate on what the future holds for both women and the program. Moving forward from this dramatic episode, one can imagine the repercussions rippling through the entertainment industry, with Petula Clark possibly choosing more controlled interviews or stage performances over unpredictable panel shows, and her team might be more selective about bookings, ensuring respectful environments. And Denise Welch likely continues as a core member of Loose Women, where her bold style is part of the appeal, and the show might invite Petula back for a reconciliation segment to boost ratings, but that depends on willingness from both sides, and public opinion could sway decisions with petitions or boycotts, although unlikely. And this incident serves as a reminder that even legends have limits, and pushing them can lead to unforgettable TV moments, good or bad. And fans of classic music might rediscover Petula's catalog, appreciating her contributions. And while Loose Women viewers debate the ethics of on-air confrontations, and ultimately television thrives on such drama, but at the heart is human respect and perhaps a lesson learned for all involved. And in conclusion, this fiery clash, whether exactly as rumored or exaggerated, has captured attention and kept people talking about Petula Clark long after her hit-making days. In wrapping up our in-depth look at the title suggesting Petula Clark was kicked off Loose Women after a fiery clash with Denise Welch, it's important to note that while the story has generated buzz, the details remain unconfirmed, with no official reports of such an event. And Petula's recent appearances on the show were positive, discussing her book and anecdotes amicably, and similar titles have been used for other celebrities in sensational videos. But regardless, the idea sparks imagination about what could cause such a showdown between two strong women from different eras, and it highlights the enduring appeal of both Petula's music and Loose Women's format. And whether real or hypothetical, it reminds us of the passion in entertainment and the thin line between debate and discord. And thank you for joining this exploration. Stay tuned for more celebrity insights, and remember to appreciate the legends like Petula Clark, who brought us downtown and so many joyful songs over the decades.